Greetings to everyone. This is Griffin Gaming RPG with the Soul Citizens, and we are back again on another Sunday night, Sunday evening, and we're happy to be back with you guys. Today we have a couple of familiar faces. I think we're gonna go ladies first this week because Gigi hasn't been here in a while. So why don't we say hi to Green? I'm so used to saying Gigi, we never say your full name. So, Green-Eyed Gal. I'm not hearing your audio for some reason. I don't know if it's me. Are you hearing her?
Nope.
You're not hearing her either, huh? Something weird's going on with the audio. Hey, Standard Dev.
There she goes.
You did? I don't know where you're muted now.
They're definitely muted.
How about now?
Oh, that's much
There we
better.
go.
Much better. Hold on a second now. I just messed up the camera, so hold on a second. There we go. Beautiful. We're back. Okay. Hey, Gigi.
Hello. How are we?
All right. Gigi, tell everybody a little bit about you.
I'm Gigi, as y'all know by now. Star Citizen. I play ESO. Just got into Sea of Thieves, which is very fun. You can find me on Twitter and on pretty much everything else as the Green-Eyed Gal.
Mm-hmm. And you spell gal a certain way.
I stream on Twitch sometimes.
Yeah, tell them how you spell gal, because you spell it a very unique way.
Green-Eyed Gal for the Caribbean people is GYAL.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, it's good to have you back. It's been a little while since you've been here, so it's good to see you.
Nice to see you guys.
And of course, the famously infamous Fastcart. Good to see you. Tell everybody a little bit about you.
Hello, I'm fastcart, also known as FC. I moderate a bunch of people. I'm all over the place. Self-promoting is difficult for me sometimes. But yeah, Tuesday, Miss Hart's 80s show. Wednesday, Friday, Service RPG show. Saturday, sometime Relay. Oh, I was on Relay yesterday, matter of fact, so that's on YouTube. And sometime the Actor Pub, Captain Table.
Very cool. Well, it's good.
This show.
Yeah, and this show too. But last but not least, this show. But it's good to see both of you guys, and happy Father's Day to all of the fathers out there.
Happy Father's Day to all the dads.
I got to share this with you guys. I know you're not going to be able to see it very well because I didn't have time to prep this, but my daughters surprised me and decided to cook me a Father's Day dinner. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that's me with my lobster tails in front of me having a dinner at like 15 minutes before the show started. So unfortunately, I didn't get to enjoy it the way I would have. It was kind of a choke down meal, but I appreciate it.
If it's all gone, I can fly over to help.
Oh, trust me, brother, it's gone. You missed out on that option. It's gone. But I appreciate them doing it. But true enough, they were saying lobster cold is not going to be good. So I went on ahead and had it. So anyway.
Can we heat it?
No, you wouldn't want to reheat that. Now look at Gigi. Gigi's face is like, no. This is
don't even.
Not a microwave meal. Not a microwave meal. But anyway, we're back this week because this is our week. As you guys know, each month we've been taking on a series called Starships, and we've been reviewing the different ships in Star Citizen. And even though we had different ships set up for this week, ironically, CIG decided to do this thing called Alien Week, unexpectedly and out of nowhere. And so over the past week, they have been highlighting certain alien ships, and we're going to kind of go through them a little bit today and talk about them. The cool thing about this is that Gigi, as you guys know, has been around for about a year, and so some of these ships and maybe some of the stuff we'll talk about in relation to lore may be new to her. So we want to get like a new person's perspective. And also, they also showed us some new ships or some new designs this week as well that we'll all get to talk about, and of course we want you guys to chime in on it. So we'll love to have you guys put comments in as always, and if you have questions, there is a link for questions. You guys can put that in there and we will respond to those questions at the end of the show. But for now, we're going to jump into it. And let's see, we're not going to put Gigi on the spot. Maybe Gigi knows how to say both these names. Maybe we will. Gigi, do you know what if you had to take a stab, at those, what would you say those are? Take a stab at it.
Kartal
That's
and
close.
Santoya.
Well, it's close. Okay, okay. The first one is the Cartual. Cartual. I don't know. That's how you say it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second one, which I always screw up, is the Santokii. Santokii, I think it is.
Santoya.
Santokii. And so thank you for that, La Crew. We appreciate that. Thank you for following. So these two ships are made by a company called Apoa. Apoa is also the same company that produces the Nox bike. That's the slender, sleek silver one. They produce that one as well. Let me read some background on this particular ship. This is from the website, from the Robert Space Industries website. It says the Xi'an, because it's Xi'an design, the Xi'an Apoa Corporation manufactures an export model of the, God only knows how you pronounce that, Choir Cartu, the Cartu All, for sale to human civilians. The export model features the same Xi'an manufacturing rig, but control surfaces are modified for human use and more limited armament. So just kind of know that this ship here is basically a human version of what the Xi'an use. And it's considered a light fighter, right? Is that right, Fastcart? Is that considered like a light
That
fighter?
sounds about right.
Yeah, a light
I
fighter
believe
or a
so.
scout. I think it was like a light scout or light fighter, something like that.
It's called a Scout.
A Scout.
Definitely called a Scout.
Okay, a scout. And it's a beautiful ship. It actually has two different
It is.
positions where it opens up like a flower, and it folds in when it goes in. And it has this unique thing. If you notice, it has the 4 engines. It's got this unique way of moving those engines. All the engines actually rotate as a way of maneuvering the ship versus thrusters. So it's kind of a really, really unique design. Next to it is its sister, which came out, I don't know how many, was that about 2-3 years later when that came out,
I wanna say-
Fastcart, maybe?
Oh, I was gonna say 2-3 years ago, but I don't know. I don't
2-3
know.
years
in relation
ago.
to Country Y'all.
Yeah, it was
I would
a
say 2-3 years ago. So whenever Country Y'all came out,
yeah. So it was at least maybe 3 to 4 years, maybe gap between when we saw this second ship, the Santokyai. And I'll read the description on that. It says harnessing the power of next generation Xi'an flight systems, upgraded dual vector thrusters, and a daunting weapon package, Apoa has crafted a fighter that retains the nimble dexterity and tight handling that the brand is known for, all with the added ability to pack a serious wallop when the situation calls for it. Welcome to the future of spaceflight, courtesy of Xi'an Empire and Apoa. Interestingly enough, this ship is not in game yet, if I'm not mistaken. It's still a concept. And I guess the difference in these ships is that these Xi'an ships are supposed to be highly maneuverable. That's one of the things that they're known for, being able to make real tight turns, even though people say, and as we know, the ships in the game aren't balanced right now. But it's supposed to be a highly maneuverable ship. I don't know any other special things about these. Do you know anything, Fastcart, about the Xi'an ships other than their tech? Is there anything in particular you know
The
about?
Country Y'all specifically has a unique control scheme. They have these track balls that you use to fly the ship.
Right.
For the pilot. So that's unusual.
Right, it doesn't have sticks like all the other ships, right?
Doesn't have
It's a
sticks,
very
right.
unique design. Kind of looks like like orbs, right? They're like big orbs your hand ride on, but it's pretty cool animation. It actually is pretty cool. The other thing that I love about these ships, at least the Cartual, it has those really cool stairs. I don't know, Gigi, if you've ever seen them. Have you ever seen the stairs on it? The stairs pop up out of nowhere. There's like no physical stairs. They I don't know how to.
It's like magic.
Yeah, it's like magical stairs that pop up when you. It's not a ladder.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a very unique.
Like
ship.
a magical realism,
They
spectral, holographic.
Yeah,
type
it's
of
like
thing.
the T1000 from Terminator. They just melt into existence and disappear.
Mm-hmm.
Same
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Cool.
very unique looking ship. And again, the Santokyai, we haven't seen that one yet. It's not out yet. But eventually, hopefully, we will see it. We're not talking about, and just so you guys know, even though it's Alien Week, we're not covering bikes or vehicles because we are going to deal with those as a separate show. There's enough of those to have their own show. So we won't even get into that. But that's what Apoa offers in relation to alien ships. And those were on sale this week. I don't remember the pricing on them. Fastcart, are you able to check out the pricing on those two?
I can look it up
And I will say this,
upgrade.
Gigi, I don't know if you know anything about this, about the alien ships in Star Citizen, but most of them are priced higher than normal of their category. So if it's an alien fighter, it costs more than a regular fighter. You know what I mean?
When y'all do that show about bikes, Don't call me.
Don't call you for that. And you can tell people why you don't like the bike show, but
Gigi gets motion sickness, and the immersion of Star Citizen is too much, and I get motion sick on the bikes.
Yeah. I'm not even sure if she can handle a golf cart. She hasn't been in the golf cart yet. That might be about the most that she can handle because it's not a lot of physical looking in that. But I don't know. Fast cart. We'll have to get her in a golf cart one day and see what happens.
I have a tumbrel, and the tumbrel's okay, but I still get a headache after a while.
Yeah. You know what some people do? They go to third person versus first person because first person will mess you up. You may have to just do that back view kind of thing.
Yeah.
You got it, Fast cart?
Okay, the Cloud is 170, and the SantacGyal is 220.
Okay, 170 and 220. And as we can probably guess that the SantacGyal will go up in price once it hits hangars. So if you guys are into this, the whole alien ship thing, it may be a thing. Also, what was I going to say about the alien, about the Shiver? I was reading Shiver's comments. Did you see Shiver's comment, Gigi? He's saying something that might help.
To avoid motion sickness.
Yeah, I get motion sickness too, but that's only when I watch other people play FPS.
Yeah, when you watch other people do it, it messes with you.
Sorry, go ahead.
I said when you're watching someone else, it messes with you, but it doesn't mess with it when you're doing it, right? Is that kind of what it is?
Right,
yeah,
right.
Yeah, I know
For
people
me,
are like that.
it's fine when I'm watching someone else, but if I'm the one doing it, I get sick.
Yours is in reverse. Okay. Wow. Okay. Well, that means you two can never ride together then, because you'll cancel each other out. If that's the case, you guys can't ride together.
No, we're fine because he can drive.
He can drive and you can ride.
So we're fine.
There you go. There you go. As long as he drives, you're good.
He can drive me around all day. It'll be a great time.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Okay, so this is the Apoa ships again, and like I said, these are the two offerings that they have. We're going to cut to a trailer now. This is actually the trailer that was put together, and we're going to move to Banu. And you guys know there was a big thing with Banu this week. It was First Contact Week last Wednesday, the time when humans made first contact with an alien race, which was the Banu. And so this is their commercial for the Banu Defenders. Let's take a look at that real quick.
You sure this is the right place?
Moss has never steered us wrong before.
All right, good enough for me.
Well, yeah, gotta love that. Very, very, very cool. I love their end title where it said "Best of All Worlds." Fastcart, can you tell the audience what that phrase means? Why is it the best of all worlds?
I believe that's a Star Trek: The Next Generation reference from the first two-parter around from the third season, The Best of All Worlds, when they introduced the Borg. Well, not introduced, but when they come in contact with the Borg again.
That's very true. And that was the best of both worlds. There's a reason why the Banu say best of all worlds. Oh, you mean tell me Fastcart doesn't know? Uh-oh, guys, get ready to write this down. He's got to think about it. He's got to think about it. Gigi, do you know why?
You're asking me if I know, or Fastcart doesn't know.
Okay, point well made. Point well made. Okay, all right. Here's the deal: the Banu are traders, and they are known for seeking out the best of everything wherever they go, including tech.
Okay,
And
I didn't
so,
know that. I just didn't
see,
know
there
how
you
to-
go. And I know Fastcart knows it. And
Yeah, I knew
Someone
that.
had
Right.
actually told me that.
right,
Yeah,
exactly.
I knew that, but I wouldn't have made
Wasn't
the
connecting
connection
it?
between
Okay.
Exactly,
Okay.
I wouldn't have connected it.
Well, fair enough. So what they do is they create their ships and build their ships by using the best of tech of everybody else versus creating their own technology. And so hence why they put that at the very end. So in a way, they're not like, yeah, go ahead, Fastcart.
Sorry, can you tell me the date of that video?
Ooh. No, I can't because
because
I downloaded that. I'm not pulling it from the
Okay.
site. I'm
I
sorry.
know about it, then I'll look it up myself.
Yep. The cool thing about them is that unlike the Vandul, who scavenge for the parts to their ships, the Banu actually do it because of their trading and because of their exploration. So ultimately, they try to find like the best quantum drives or the best guns, and then they just incorporate it into their ships. So this one we're looking at is the Banu Defender. It is their fighter. It's actually considered a mid-range fighter versus a real tight light fighter or close fighter. It has the uniqueness of that it takes two people to fly it. And even though right now, you gonna say Fastcart? Go ahead.
No, I'm gonna say I think the single person can fly, but it can crew two people.
Yes, what I was going to say was, even though right now that's the case, but there actually are roles that each person is supposed to perform in the ship. And so the pilot who sits on the left side will pilot the ship. The person on the right will do secondary functions such as shield maneuvering and stuff like that. It hasn't been built into the game completely, but ultimately it's supposed to be where they're working in tandem or working together when they're fighting. When the ship first came out, some of you guys may remember that it looked beautiful, but there were some real aesthetic and practical problems with it. One of them was the viewing when looking from the cockpit because the way the arms were designed. This ship is another animated ship where it folds and the wings move and there's a lot of beautiful action to it, but they had to go back and do some rework to it, and now it's in a really, really nice state. It's also unique because as a fighter, it has beds in it as well. But no bathroom, Fastcart, so you have to put the order in that they need to put a bathroom in this bad fella. If you're going to have beds, you got to have a bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you guys think? I think you both have seen this ship before in game. What do you think about it when you see it?
It's beautiful to look at.
Go ahead.
It is.
Why do y'all
beautiful
go?
to look at.
I'm sorry. I was going to say I actually have a bit of history with this ship because I actually won this ship from the PAX East 2020 giveaway that they did. So I won this directly from CIG.
Nice.
Tyler and Molly participated. So I actually had this in my hangar. And it's a good look at. It's really well animated, but it's not something that I really want in my fleet. But it's great to look at, like you said. I like the organic look of it too.
Yes. One of the things I really liked about it, when I don't own one, but I walked alongside it, and they have this scripting scroll that's in the side of it. It's gold along the sides. It's like ornate handwork almost on the side of the ship. It's really beautiful. And unfortunately, we don't have an interior shot of it, but for those of you who've been inside of it, you know that it has a very elaborate organic interior. In a way, it kind of is a throwback to Aliens in the sense of that organic design or look.
Geiger.
Yeah, the Geiger, H.R. Geiger look to it, but it has its own unique style. And very cool when you go inside, kind of a misty kind of inside to it, and stuff's dripping from the ceilings a little bit. But it's actually pretty large interior. I thought it was going to be a smaller ship than it is, but it's a pretty decent sized ship. And it also has unique weapons on it. They're more like I don't know, how would you describe them, Fastcart? The guns on this ship, they're like
I believe they're tachyon.
tachyon lasers. They're tachyon
Yeah,
lasers.
tachyon. That's what they call them.
Yep, and they're unique to this ship. They're mid-range distance, so they reach out pretty far as hitting a target. And if you're a good pilot, they're pretty devastating. A lot of people swear that this is one of the best fighters currently in the game. So hats off to the Banu Defender. Were you gonna say something, Gigi?
Moose is actually making a pretty good point in the comments that it'll shine more when the merchantman comes out because it'll work synergistic with it. It'll be able to dock and attach to the merchantman. So that'll give it, a better place in one's
Definitely
in one's fleet.
Definitely, and hence the name, right? The Defender. That's what it's there for, because the Merchantman, as you guys know, which is going to be our next ship we're going to talk about, but the Merchantman is their big trading ship, but it's also during times of war, it becomes their warship, the Banu warship, and the Defender is designed to do just that, to defend those ships. So since you introduced the Merchantman, let's talk about the Merchantman. Let's talk about it. Fastcart, you got history with this one too, right? Why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, this is the ship that pushed me over concierge, basically. So I got this in 2016. And it's gotten bigger. I mean, some people like it was supposed to be like 150, or maybe that's what it is now, but it's smaller than that, a lot smaller. And you can see from this, this is the same background I have it on my green screen. But you can see the people are all small. This is a new concept image that they put out, I want to say 3 years ago. But you could compare the people in that screenshot to the size of the ship. People are saying, "Oh, it's got to be English size now," but no, sadly no. It's like. And it maybe grew like 20 or so meters.
It's big,
and it also it went up in price. It used to be $250 when it first came out. I got it for $250, and now it's $350. So it went up $100. And by the time it come out, it'll probably be $450, at least $400 when it comes out.
Yeah, guarantee that the price on that ship is going to change. It's very popular. In fact, it's probably become the second popular ship. Since the Carrack came out, it is probably the now Gib me ship of people who are into Star Citizen is the brand new Merchantman. I'm kind of... Go ahead, Gigi.
I like it, but I would never buy a Merchantman. It's just so much ship.
Yeah.
Now, what I would do, I would get a Defender and maintain with a friend who I knew had a Merchantman. We could go out together, but I would not buy a Merchantman.
You hang with me.
There you go.
That's just so much ship.
Long as Fastcart's pay is good, she'll probably hang with you, brother. I'm sure about that. Get to make some cash, right?
That is a ship I intend to get some NPCs for to help me out with the bazaar. Oh, that's the other thing. It's a bazaar. You can sell stuff, and it had a huge cargo. Unless they changed that. But it has a huge cargo. You can sell stuff from it, and the other thing is it's a blockade runner as well as their warship. So I want to say the jack of all trades, but it has many specialties that you can do with that ship.
I want to read something from the description on this ship. Because there's something else that I want to talk about that people may have forgotten. It says the Banu traders are renowned for their merchant prowess, traveling the space lanes and trading with everyone from humans to the Vandal. Their sturdy, dedicated trading ships are prized beyond all other transports, sometimes passing from generation to generation of Banu. Now, one of the things that they talked about this ship, and Fastcart, you alluded to it, talking about it being a trading ship, or some people would say like a flying bazaar. The other thing that they talked about is that the Banu use these ships as a point of trading, that you actually bring people on board and have conversations about how you're going to strike deals. This ship does... Go ahead.
There's a specific screenshot of that, too.
Yes.
They showed a conference room.
A conference room, right, exactly. So this ship is big enough. It's pretty big, but it can land on planets. And so kind of think of it, like you mentioned, as like that mobile trading post almost. You go out and accumulate stuff, and you take this ship out into other bases and sell items to people from the ship. They've made some comparisons in the game mechanic to the privateer, being able to set up, as you mentioned, Fastcart, NPCs that would operate the stores for you. You'd have a certain bazaar areas, you could stock them, and then NPCs would do the sales for you if you wanted to do that. Gigi, were you going to say something? It looked like you were about to say something before I cut you off. No?
No.
Okay, but yeah, it is a big ship. That is for sure.
And let me repeat this again.
Yeah,
The scale in that picture is not what it's going to be. It's not
true.
going to be quite that big. There
Yeah,
was a huge uproar on Reddit and everything when that screenshot came out, or concept art came out. So yeah, just letting people know again.
exactly. And like Fastcart said earlier, we've been just finding out that a lot of the ships that were designed in the early days, when I say early days, I'm talking about from 2012 through, let's say, late 2013, 2014, a lot of those ships, the metrics for different ships and ship designs were not completely in place. So that's why certain ships grew in size. They look great on paper, they look great in illustration, but when they actually start having to put human beings inside the ships, putting components inside the ships, for some ships making sure that there was room so that there could be PvP play inside of ships, that caused the ships to grow in size. So if you've got those early ships like this ship, we've seen the Orion, that one has grown. Trust me, if you've got those ships, Reclaimer, the Starfarer did it, right? That was the first one we saw that it was 100 meters. A lot of those early ships grew in size because of metrics. Later ships, you may not see that as much because they have the metrics down for each of the manufacturers. So we don't know how big the merchantman will be, but we know it will probably be bigger than it was originally expected to be. So that's the history behind that one. Okay. Puny. All right, let's see what else we've got here. Is it punny? Punny. Okay, puny would be one N, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's my bad spelling. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, we're going to take a look at another ship. We're going to move to a different manufacturer now. And this is going into Asperia. And they're one of their ships that just came out recently called the Prowler.
With courage. For honor. In strength. To glory.
Alrighty. The Prowler. Let's talk about this ship a little bit. This just
The Prowler is what my video game nightmares are made of.
Why do you say that?
I just have this horrifying mental picture of being somewhere minding my own business and my prospector mining on like Daymar or something, and then suddenly this thing flies over me and casts a shadow, and I just know my life's about to end. I just know it's over.
That could be. It could be. Okay, here's the background on the Prowler. Named after the UPE military designation, the Prowler is a modernized version of the infamous Tavaran armored personnel carrier. Xperia's astro engineers were given unmitigated access to study the original versions of the ship recently discovered in the Cabal system to help meticulously reconstruct the vehicle. Now the Prowler is the perfect fusion of two cultures, the elegance and effectiveness of the Tavaran war machine combined with the reliability of modern human technology. Excuse me. Let's talk a little bit about Asperia before we talk about their ships. Asperia is the company in the Star Citizen universe that basically creates other humanized versions of alien ships. And so they would kind of be like if you were to have a company and you say you're going to make a copy of a Maserati and a copy of a Rolls Royce or whatever, but that's what they exclusively do. So these are not Tavaran ships. What they are their remake of a Tavaran ship or a Vandal ship or whatever the other ship is that they make. Hello, Pappy. Thank you for that follow. So the Prowler is there's another ship that's in the game that functions in a similar way to the Prowler, but is actually different, and that's the Valkyrie. And Gigi, you're familiar with the Valkyrie, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. So I know Fastcart knows about the Valkyrie. The difference in the two, even though they're both troop transports, is that the Prowler is designed to be built more around stealth as a drop ship, where the Valkyrie is designed more to go directly into war combat, where it has more armor. It can take a little bit more beating. Where the Valkyrie holds, I think there are 20 people that you can do in the drop, plus 6 other people working guns and flying the ship. This ship holds 12 people. Is it 12? I think it's 12, right? 6 and 6, yeah. 12 people as far as in the dropship portion, and then there are 2 pilots, a gunner and a pilot. But this is designed for stealth. It's designed, like you said, Gigi, that thing that sneaks in, comes in quietly, drops the people, and it can do some battle too, but the intention is to get them in safely. That's the big thing about it. So any thoughts about what you saw in relation to the Prowler?
You wanna go?
Gigi already told you she's scared of it, so.
No.
Terrified.
Well, I was just gonna say that it may not kill you. It just may take you capture you and steal your ship. So there's a chance you may survive.
Fastcart, I might rather die than be captured by an alien race that probably don't like me very much.
Well, it won't be alien. This is a human ship, remember?
Well, fair enough, but look, we're not going to pretend humans are so great that I'd love to be captured by humans.
No, but I like to look at this episode. It's not my play style.
Yeah.
I'm not into transporting troops. I'm more of a marketeer for like the mercenaries and stuff like that. But it's a great tip to look at. I will look up the price as soon as I stop talking. But yeah, it's awesome to look at.
It is. It's got some uniqueness to it too. This is another one of those ships that has a lot of animation to it. And so the wings that you see that it's resting on actually fold up and go into a position like a bird. The Tavaran also use avian aspects to their ships. If you see the interior of the ship, it glows red. It has this like arching design throughout the ship that reminds you of like a nest. And if you even notice, the pilot who was flying the ship had on like this mask that was kind of like a hawk or a bird. There's this aspect of the Tavarans of having this. We don't know what they're like yet. We still haven't seen that yet. But obviously there's some influence there on some avian level, bird type level. And their ship reflects it. Another unique thing about that, if you look at the front of the ship, you don't see a glass canopy. That's because their canopy on the front is actually armored. From the inside, you can see out. From the outside, you can't see in. Yeah, which is very cool. Go ahead, Fastcart.
Oh, the other thing is that armor you were just talking about. A lot of people want that armor because they say it looks cool. So I can see that armor being a huge selling point.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
Popular
the armor is
when it's
pretty cool.
available.
Mm-hmm, it is.
But I looked at the price and it's $430. It's higher than I thought it would be. But wow, yeah.
430.
440.
$440. Oh, 440. Okay, 440. Yeah. Now, interesting. Go ahead, G.
I'd get on it as the gunner. I do like,
Mm-hmm.
hopping in a turret and just kind of shooting down whatever my pilot points me at.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a terrible pilot. Like, I'm a great secondary. I can shoot, I can mine, I can man the lasers and stuff like that, but don't make me pilot.
Yeah. There's a couple other unique things about this ship. On the sides of it, there are 6 doors on each side, and they actually have a shield that's in front of them that allows those doors to open, but for the atmosphere not to be out, pushed outside of the ship. It keeps it pressurized. So you can stay inside, open the doors, and just before you drop out, you can jump out the ship. When you jump out the ship, those arms, when they're down, they actually have a fin in the back that protects you, almost like a wall, so that if someone else is out there, they can't hit you when you're jumping out of the ship, which is also another means to protect you, when you're disembarking from the ship. He's so cheap. Ops Shark, you are just too funny. And listen to this guy. So anyway, we won't even talk about that, Ops Chief. So anyway, there's another aspect to the ship. If you look at the bottom of it, this ship has Gravlev technology. She's cracking up.
She's gone.
I know. She's just totally
I'm
messed
sorry.
up.
Come on, Ops, I'm wearing makeup. You can't do that to me.
Yeah, we'll have to tell you guys this story later. We were on a mission last night with Ops Chief, and it was interesting to say the least. So anyway, the Prowler on the bottom, you guys see those blue lights over there. Those are Gravlevs, and there are 2 on each side. And so we haven't seen what this technology is yet, but we know that how Gravlevs work on the Yellow Jacket and the what's the other one called? The Dragonfly. So there's evidently going to be some aspect of levitation or control that works with the ship well, particularly when it's on the ground. Yeah, go ahead.
A lot of the speeders have anti-gravity. The only one that don't is the Ranger.
Right. But I mean, those particular round nacelle type things that you see on the
Yeah.
Yellow Jacket, but you're absolutely right. Yep, it is something that's very common on most of those type of bikes that fly in the game. Okay. So that's the Prowler. Very, very cool ship. Let's look at now. We've got a couple more ships that are in the Asperia category, and some of you guys may be able to answer this question because one of the ships that we're going to talk about is not in the Asperia category, and we kind of want to know why. But we'll get to that when we get to it. So let's look at the trailer right now for the Blade. Not Nick Cage. Thank you for that follow. So there you go, the Asperia Blade. Remember, once again, we said Asperia does their own remake version of another manufacturer or other alien ship. In this particular case, it's the Vanduul Blade. The Vanduul Blade is interesting because this was the third of the Vanduul ships that was released. There was the Scythe, there was the Glaive, and then the Blade. The Blade came out much later than the other two, and this one probably reflects the design of the Vanduul better than the first two. They worked on it a little bit more. I think when we saw the Kingship, there was a video of the Kingship and the
oh man,
what was the other one called? The Driller. And yeah, this reflects it. Things that you saw that were highlighted in here were things like, if you notice, it had the reddish color to it with the lighting. There's supposed to be some type of bio aspect to that with their ships. And so this one kind of reflects it, even though they've remade this one again. They've actually remade this ship, and we'll take a look at those remakes in a little bit. But Fastcart, I'll go to you this time, first time. What did you think about the Blade when you first saw it?
Again, it looks menacing. It looks mean. It's not my kind of ship. It's a fighter, but I prefer the more human styles when it comes to aesthetics and stuff like that. But it looks awesome. But yeah, it's not my kind of thing.
Okay, Gigi, what about you?
Oh, I love it. Generally, I'm not big on the alien style ships, but that specific shape has always been very, it just always has done something for me. So yeah, I do love it. I wouldn't buy it because I'm not a fighter. I'm more of a EMPU and run kind of person, but I do love it. I love the look of it.
This is their light fighter versus the Glaive, which is their heavy fighter, which was their, I think it's, I don't know if it's a medium. Is it Glaive a medium or a heavy fighter? I don't know. But it might be heavy because it's got a size 5 gun on it, so it might be actually heavy.
They change it so often. It could be one thing one time and different thing the other time.
That's true.
But the other thing I want to say is that Shiva and Gigi had a moment together just now, and they said you can use the blade to fly up to the moon and make it look like a Batman symbol. So and that never occurred to me. So
that was my immediate reaction the first time I saw the blade. I was like, Batman.
Yeah, it does remind you of that. Let's take a look at the remake version. And this is the one that they just showed us last week in ISC, where they showed us how they are redoing these, particularly for Squadron 42. And there was a disclaimer, and it'll pop up, that said that those people who own these Vanduul ships now, that they will be changed, but it won't be till after Squadron 42. So the versions you guys have of the Scythe and the Glaive and the Blade, love them for now because evidently they're going to change later. I actually have some thoughts about that, and I'll ask you about that later. But let's take a look at the new version of the blade. You guys tell me what you guys think of this. There's no sound or anything, but that's the new version of the blade. And the question... Go ahead.
It's less of a Batman symbol now.
Yeah, I prefer the other one.
You like the other one better?
Aesthetically, I prefer the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Size-wise, I prefer the other one. I feel like the other one was slightly smaller.
Mm-hmm.
And CIG loves to make these giant ships, you know, and I get it. They are, you know, a huge wow factor, and specifically with CIG because they're so intricate in the way they design.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't like giant ships. I don't want to pilot that. I like small little get in, get out. I like my Avenger. I like my Hornet. You know what I mean? I just want to zip in and do what I'm doing and leave. I don't want to be taking over the skies. I'm not an 890 person, Griff.
Okay, I get it.
No, but
I like that they showed the transition between the old and the new.
It looks like a bat, is what it looks like from maybe 3 seconds ago from an overhead view. I felt like I was looking straight into the eyes of a bat.
And the other thing is, it's very much more spiky, the new version compared to the old version. You see spike coming out of the nose, the cockpit, all over the place.
They talked about on ISC that the Vanduul have these like hairs or barbs that grow out of their body that they're trying to associate to the fact that it's part of their sensory aspects. And so whether that's going to have an effect on what they can sense or feel or hear, whatever. But if you look at the ship, it has that same type of thing, these little barbs or wires that extend out of it. So they're refining this whole dynamic of who the Vanduul are, as well as their equipment.
I will say something I do like about the Vanduul ships is that most of them have that kind of globe for the cockpit, which allows so much range of view. You know, and it's Star Citizen is so pretty. You really do want to be taking advantage of the view and how gorgeous it is.
No stretch.
Yeah. Let's take a quick look at their other ship that they have, which is the Glaive. I'm going to jump to that before we deal with this other one. Now, this is the Glaive currently. This is what it looks like. And a lot of people love this ship. It's a pretty tough fighter. It can't take a lot of damage, but if I'm not mistaken, it has size 5 cannons on it, which is pretty powerful. And there are plenty of people who I know used to sit out and just tap people off with this ship. They just would blow people away all the time. But this design has also changed. Let me read the description on it real quick. It says the Glaive is a symmetrical version of the Scythe. We'll look at the Scythe next. Generally flown by the Vanduul with more combat experience, they are better armed and have 2 huge blade wings as opposed to 1 on the standard Scythe. This model is a human reproduction created by the manufacturer Asperia. A lot of people don't know this about these ships. The reason why these ships are called the Blade and the Scythe and the Glaive is because they are heavily armored on their edges. And one of their tactics when they use these ships is that they will literally run those wings across your ship and destroy you. So even if they can't hit you with their guns, they will get close enough, and many of us have seen this happen, where they will run up against you and tear your ship up with the edges of their ship. So those names are just not names because they're pretty names. Regatta Dumb, thank you for the follow. Anyway, thoughts on the Glaive? Oh, let me show you the new version before we even get thoughts. All right, this is the newer version. Notice that the paint and stuff has been removed. It's got a darker look. In ISC, they also told us... What'd you say?
I'm sorry, I said more menacing. I didn't mean...
Oh, more menacing. Oh, okay. Okay, no problem. Yeah, no problem. One of the things they said about these ships, too, is that if you notice the tops of the ships are heavily armored because they're treating these ships like as if they were like you said, a hawk, or something that would be swooping down on somebody. So their back is vulnerable. They want to be able to attack from above with these ships. So that's one of the new design features that they've put in here too. But guys, feel free. Comment what you guys think about this design versus the other one.
Definitely like this design more. The other one just felt more childish. You know what I mean? It felt like something I would have seen playing Starfleet, like old games, or you know what I mean? That red and yellow paint.
Oh, the paint job.
Super off-putting for me. The paint, I know I frowned as soon as I saw it. I was like, and I had to fix my face. Because the paint job was very off-putting. I like this better. The spires are better too on the wings.
Mm.
It looks more like actual spires and less like somebody just kind of attached something to a toy.
Yeah.
That might be more my problem. The other one looked more like a child's toy.
Mm-hmm.
And I've come to expect a certain level of design because, I'm newer to Star Citizen. So I've come to expect a certain level of design from CIG. And I was expecting this. And so I saw that and I was like, I don't like it.
Okay.
But this one's much better.
Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. Fastcart, what about you?
Yeah, I agree with Gigi.
Yeah, definitely.
I agree with Gigi. This one is definitely an improvement compared to the old version. Like where we may prefer the older blade, the new glaive is definitely better. But this is one of the first ships that they came out with. I want to say 2014 or 2015.
Mm-hmm.
But you had to complete Arena Commander Wave 18 in order to get access to buy it before it was sold out. And I'll look up the price after I finish talking. I should do that before, right? While we're thinking about it. But yeah, I like the wing. I like the whole and everything. And like someone just said, Big Moo said, yeah, if a heart was possessed by a demon, yeah, that kind of play, and he's right about that.
Well, was this ship? This ship was limited at one time, right? Am I correct?
It still is limited. Yeah. It's really hard to get. This is one of the ships that's really hard to get hold of.
Okay.
And this
enough.
one is 350. 350 by side credit.
350. Okay. Daedalus, thank you for the follow. Yeah. Again, this goes back to the thing we were talking about fighter ships being a little more expensive if they're alien, and a lot of people. There are some people who kind of are looking at these ships to use them in game per se for fighting. I think that there are a lot of them though that buy them as collectors. They want to collect those alien ships and have them, and they're willing to pay that extra money. Let me ask you this: do you guys think that flying these alien ships around the universe will be a good thing or bad thing, or people won't care?
Bad thing, very, very bad thing. People will try to steal on site. Matter of fact, with the UE flight week, Invictus flight week, a couple of weeks ago, if you try to fly near the fleet in a alien ship, or Van Duel specifically, they would try to shoot you down.
Really? Oh, I didn't know that.
That's what I heard. I mean, I haven't. Yeah, people. That was going around, but I haven't confirmed it personally. But that's what they said.
That would have been cool if they had implemented that. I hope they did. I mean, just as a part of the gameplay, it would have been awesome.
And there's even in lore, the writing, the people who collect these ships try to fly them around. They get mistaken for the enemy, and almost all do get shot down.
Okay. So you hear that, collectors, all you alien ship collectors out there? You better be really good pilots if you decide to take a drive around the block, because there are going to be people taking pot shots at you, it seems like. So, okay, well, let's double back now and look at the other ship that was made. Now, this one, the reason why I said earlier there's a little bit of I need some clarity also from you folks in chat. Citizen Kalis, thank you for the follow. And that's this next ship, which is the Scythe. And Fastcart and I had a conversation about this the other day, because the Scythe is listed as under Van Duel. If you go into the ship store, it's listed as sold as Van Duel. It's not listed under Isperia. And this and the Glaive were out around the same time. So I'm kind of curious about whether or not these are going to be replica ships. Will the Scythe become a replica? Or will it be actually Van Duel? I don't know. I have no idea where that lands in the universe or the game, or whether just the RSI website is wrong like it often is. But as you can see on this one in the front, you can see that the blade is way more pronounced. You can see that the Scythe blade in the front there on the wing. One of the reasons why people did not like this ship is because the gun, which you can see is also on the wing right behind the blade, is fixed to the wing. And so people could not do any type of upgrade to it. You were stuck with that weapon. From my understanding, okay, somebody got an answer. The Scythe was a special pledge. They were actually captured Van Duel ships. That were sold off to fund the war. Thank you, Kalis. Thank you. See there? We always have an intelligent audience to help us out. All right, so they've done some rework on this ship we just saw last week, and this is the newer version of it, and they've made it now where that gun can be upgraded. So let's take a quick look at that and give me your feelings on it. You can see there's similarity in the sense of the design from the originals, but you can also see where they've changed it. Any thoughts on that one?
Yeah. The blade was really sticking out on the previous version. I haven't gotten to point to see the blade on this one yet. But this one is like you know what I'm saying? Don't bring a gun to a knife fight. This one is trying to prove the opposite.
That's a good point.
As always, I prefer the newer one. But only because the original looks more like they did just attach a knife to a ship, where this looks more like it's purposeful. It's intended to be there.
Right.
And I do enjoy the idea of being able to change out the guns, because you really don't want to bring a knife to a gunfight.
Yeah.
And if you're the Vanduul, you're gonna have a lot of people shooting at you. You're gonna need
Yeah.
you're gonna need that. So yeah. I like it though. This is one of the first Vanduul ships that I've actually had interest in.
Okay.
Oh, so you would get this one?
No, but I have interest in it.
Nine Dimensions and Old Dog 69. Thank you guys for the follow.
The biggest Vanduul you're gonna get me to buy is the Defender.
Okay.
I'm not going any bigger.
Okay. Well, Kayla's just jumped in and said there won't be a Asperia remake of it. Okay, and it's one of the few ships the CIG has outright stated that they would not sell again, along with the Idris M. So there you go. There's another piece of information there.
Kayla's with the info.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Kayla's. We appreciate that. Ops Chief also says all the new ships look more organic versus the older designs that looked more like they were pieced together metal. And again, we got to go back and reemphasize that the Vanduul were basically scavengers who literally did piece their ship together. But to your point, Ops Chief, there is much more of a consistent design now. There's some weird story about how when they make these ships, they use some type of raw material to coat their ships in based on the places that they take over. I've forgotten where that is in lore. I'm going to have to go back and look at it. But there is more uniformity. I agree 100%. They also said that they didn't want the scythe to look like a half-cut version of the glaive, so they did make some distinctive differences in it, so it didn't just look like they just slapped a wing on the other side, which is pretty cool. So Fastcart, you're giving us the prices. Tell us what those prices are on the ships now.
Oh, this one says 300. The glaive is 350. So that's comparable to a merchantman or a endeavor. So that's a huge alien tax on glaive itself. But yeah, this one is 300. It's not quite as much, but it's still a lot compared to a normal human fighter.
Yeah. Okay. Miss Hartz, we see you. We want to get that glaive. You're going to go for it, huh? That's awesome.
Miss Hartz, you and me, we're going to get a stream and we're going to get you your glaive.
That's funny. Okay.
Oh, but we were talking about collectors and talk about people who want to fly alien ships.
Yeah.
I hope you don't mind me saying this, but she said it publicly before. But Miss Hart is one of those people who want to fly the Vanduul stuff. She's pro Vanduul.
That's right. She's pro Vanduul. You did tell me that. Yeah. So Miss Hart, you're going to be taking out a lot of insurance policies in game, I'm assuming. Is that going to be part of the deal too?
Girl, get that lifetime insurance.
No, don't let Miss Hart fool you. Miss Hart's been around for a while, so I'm sure she can handle herself pretty good.
Get that lifetime.
Oh, she says I'm a pro. She says I'm pro Vanduul. Ain't that a trip? Girl, get out of here. Change it to the side. No, I'm just teasing. That's great. No, that's great. I mean, it's good to have people who do dig that whole side of the game.
This just came to my mind. There's an operation on Pitchfork to take place. Well, the plan is to take place on the last day of beta.
Right.
So Operation Pitchfork is when they try to take back the Vega system from the Vanduul. So there's a whole bunch of us on the east side who try to reclaim the ship, reclaim the system. But there are other people who, like Miss Hutch and maybe Gigi, will fly around Van Duel ships against us in the Operation Pitchfork. So
That's
I
true.
think that'll be interesting.
Gigi not buying no Vandal ships. Gigi does nothing that gets
You can
Gigi
ball
shot
one.
at.
You can ball one. I'm sure people will be happy to let you ball there.
It would be, yeah, I would be great to borrow one, but I told you I'm a terrible pilot. So upon persistence becoming a thing with these ships, nobody let me borrow your ship.
Yeah, don't get Ops Chief going on that subject again, please. Don't get him going. Okay, so we've taken a look at our manufacturers from this week. We looked at Asperia, we looked at Apoa, we looked at Banu. Now we're going to take you guys back. Some of you may remember last year at CitizenCon 2049. Is that right? 2049? 2049? Yeah, 2049. They had a segment called Ship Talk, where they introduced what the new ships were. They showed us the Carrack, they showed us the Pisces, but then they did something very unique at the end of that segment. They decided to show us 4 ships that they were working on in concept, and they talked about them a little bit, gave a little bit of the history on them, and then, hey, Nikki Doo, thank you for the follow. But then what they did was they showed us silhouettes of those ships, and they asked the audience to basically, by applause, vote and say which of these 4 ships would you like to see us produce. And they all got applause, and there was one in particular that got the most applause at the end, which they were very surprised about. So we're going to watch that segment, and then we're going to talk about it. And the reason why is because some of you know there have been rumors about these new ships that are going to be coming out this year, and some of the rumors match up with what we saw last year at CitizenCon during Ship Talk. So let's take a quick look at that.
Let's talk about a bit more in the future. So we're going to do something that we've never done before. And this is stuff we do internally, but you guys have never really been involved in this process at this point. So we're going to pitch 4 ideas for future vehicles or ships that we're considering doing. We're going to give you a high-level breakdown of them. We've had the concept guys knock up some really quick sketches just to sell it, just like Paul showed earlier, where we have a 2D thumbnail sketch of them, and we go, yep, that one looks cool, that's terrible. And then we'll hopefully have time for a very short Q&A at the end on those ships. So if you've got some questions for one of those 4 ships we're about to show you, we'll try and come up with some answers for them, because we have got no idea what you're going to think of these. And then we'll do the noisometer to see.
So we want a little bit of crowd participation, sort of help with choosing favorite ones. So that'll be like Chris has done in the past. And we'll run through each one separately, and you guys make as much noise as you want for each one. And between the 3 of us, we'll try and figure out which one is the loudest.
And if I don't hear the ship team who are hiding at the back of the hall the loudest out of everyone, it goes on their performance reviews. So, first up.
First up is the ground mining vehicle. This is a ground vehicle that's made by an industrial manufacturer, something like MISC or Argo. It should hold about 1 to 2 players, and it should be probably smaller than an Ursa rover, so you can fit it on any of your ships, basically. It also has storage for your personal commodity inventory, so that you can take the things that you mine and you can put them into this. It should also aid in your detection of mineable objects, so you can scan around and find them. And then it also has a little laser on it, so that you can mine little personal FPS mining nodes.
That one in the middle does look like it's holding a Wacom tablet pen.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. We can do a deal.
For me, I've picked a Xi'an cargo ship. So something that is not from the current Xi'an manufacturers that we have at the moment, which I'm going to now butcher the pronunciation of. Is that
we asked Sherry several times.
Sherry's, yeah, we talked to Sherry many times and have still messed it up. Multi-crew, and it's one of these ships that sort of fills out the verse. We have the whole series, we have the freelancers, we have the caterpillars. Just like the real world, you just have tons of vehicles on the highway, freeway, interstate, whatever you call it in your country. And that makes up the bulk of traffic, so we should have a variety of ships. Around 300 SU, that's sort of the sweet spot between something that is profitable without being unwieldy to unload and manage. And yeah, it's competitors to the Hull B and Freelancer Max. So it's a bit more than Freelancer Max. My brain has failed me on the Hull B's cargo capacity. It's less than the Caterpillar.
Yeah, we'll let you off.
Yeah.
We'll let you off.
It's been a long day.
So for me, the Tavaran Light Fighter, I mean, I'm really digging what the team have been doing with the Prowler. You guys probably will have seen it on some of the behind the scenes and how the ship's been developing. And so I think there's a lot of potential for this ship. So this one would be an escort fighter to the Prowler. Obviously, the sort of advanced shield tech, 2 large S4 mounts. Nothing else, but other than it's just, I can see it looking super cool. So I can see good potential in that.
And lastly,
the starter refinery ship. So this would be a one-man crew, but it would have a living quarters, and it would have a tractor beam that would grab those pods. So that we have these like standard pods that are on the Prospector right now, and then so it could grab those off the Prospector, and then it would hook up into it, and you'd be able to refine the materials that you mine from the Prospector, and then store those on board.
Here are the 4 options again. So how do we want to do this?
We can, so I guess we're just going to start at the start.
Yeah.
So definitely everybody, you know, so the way this works, like I said, we're going to start at A. And if you want A, make as much noise as you can, because we're just going to base this off the noise and to figure out which one wins.
Legal have asked me to make sure that we don't commit to anything here. We'll take it into consideration.
So for A, anybody who wants A, make your noise now.
Not bad.
That's pretty good noise. So for B, anybody who wants B, which is the Xi'an small cargo, make your noise.
No, wait, too late.
It's going to be hard.
Yeah.
I still think A is maybe
Yeah, I
winning
think
at
A
the
was a little
moment.
louder.
Yeah.
So for the Tavaran Light Fighter C, let's have some noise. And for D, the
Refinery.
I need my glasses on. Small refinery. So make a noise for D if you want D.
That was not expected.
I think we can safely say that was D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it would seem that D was the one that everybody went for. Were you guys expecting that one out of the 4?
I was, because I would kill for a new refinery, a starter refinery. Definitely.
There are the designs up on the screen again.
Yeah, I don't remember which one I went for when I watched it live, but it's probably between B and D. So between those two, I was happy. But probably like they said that the B would be a competitor with the whole B and the other Freelancer Max. So that being being a competitor with the Max would interest me. But yeah, I'm happy with D one also. But according to like you were saying before, all 4 ships look like, yeah.
You know, weirdly enough, and Kayla's has hit on the point that I was going to mention. Mining is the one career that seems to be being fleshed out the most out of the ones that we have that are active. We've got the Prospector, we've got the Mole. They started adding the attachments for the moles, the different mining drills. Then they started adding the consumables to them as well. They started fleshing that out. What they haven't fleshed out is the refining capability. It's probably the biggest frustration for people who do mining, that they end up bringing a lot of inert material back and they can't separate. And so they know they could make more money if they could separate and refine. And we've also seen this new docking thing coming up where they're talking about being able to do that. So obviously, it seems like that's the direction they've been pushing toward. But the rumors, on the other hand, have focused around A, which was the little mining vehicle, which again goes into the mining career area. and some people are saying that may be through Greycat. We've been hearing stories that it may be Greycat versus Argo who puts it out. And the other rumor that I've been hearing words about are the Xi'an cargo ship. I've heard rumor about that, and the Tavaran because of the Prowler. So it's weird. I haven't heard a lot of rumors about the refining ship. I only heard it last year at CitizenCon, but these other 3 ships are the ones that I've been hearing people talk about. So I don't know. Give me some feedback. Which one of these do you all feel should be the one that they go with if they were to go with one?
Why can't we have all of them?
Yeah, right. And maybe we will. I mean, maybe you could see maybe that we will, right? But I'm curious.
No, like I said, I personally I prefer the B, but I can see the C making a comeback, 'cause like you said, with a companion for the Prowler. And A seems a little. I think it would be too much of a target on the ground, just stationary. You can't really move, and like. I mean, you have to stop mining and then move, or you have to pull up to your location and then start mining. So I can see A being a bit of a problem if you don't have good enough escort around you. But if you get escort, you should be good.
Gigi, what about you?
My Star Citizen trade is mining. Everybody knows this about Gigi. Gigi just likes to mine and mind her business. So that small refinery would be everything I wanted. The ability to not bring back all of those rocks would be. I'd be ecstatic over that.
I mean, you could have A and D.
¿Por qué no los dos?
Yeah, that's true. That is true. You know, interesting to your point, fastcart. A, even though it is a vulnerable vehicle, my problem with them putting A in is that, one, it's got to be transported to your location. I mean, it could be spawned, but even if you spawn it at one of the bases, you're going to have to still drive distances to find what you want, versus if it was brought out of a ship. I see A being definitely important when bases are on surfaces. Once you have bases where you can actually, set up bases around areas where refining is done, then I see it being a great thing. So I think that maybe it will pop out. I mean, those nodes are out there right now. People have to get out of their ship and get out with their little hand laser and do the mining, and this vehicle is supposed to eliminate that. As far as cargo goes, that's really been dominated by the Freelancer and the Caterpillar. So if they introduce the Xi'an, that would be kind of cool, I guess. We have no Tavaran ships other than the Prowler, so maybe they could introduce that as well, like you said. But I think the refining ship, if there was demand of something that would be put to use right away, as far as a mechanic goes, refining would definitely be the place where people would want to make money. So, like you said, fastcart, hopefully we'll see all of them. Hopefully we'll see all of them pop up in the game.
Oh, Caleb brought up a good point.
Yeah,
for the ground miner, you can have in caves. So
Yes.
that would solve the issue of being a target. But people have to come in and get you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but then you have to go down into the caves. And
Well, yeah.
And we know they're going to create those caves. They're going to come that you can drive a vehicle into, and do your work. So we'll see once that comes up.
I will stick to my surface and asteroid mining.
Well,
Chip 7 said,
yeah, let me ask the Chip question. Why would you want a ground miner when the prospector can mine on planets easily? And that's very true. The difference is, though, is that there's an aspect of fuel consumption. And again, that's why I said this will be important for when you have a base. Because if you have a base and you have places to refine the materials at your base, then that vehicle to me is way more practical, because there are going to be people who are on bases and they're going to be working there. That's what they're going to be doing. The prospector, believe it or not, was rumored at one point to be exclusive to working in asteroid belts. I don't know if that was legit or not, but there was one point where they said it was really designed to be in space working more than on surfaces. So we have it on surfaces now, obviously, but I don't know. That was just something people were saying a while back.
Yeah, and also if people want to do underground mining, it makes you less of a target if you're not on the surface of a planet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
and what I was going to say is that the vehicle for the ground mining is probably smaller, so you could fit into places that the prospector cannot fit into.
Mm-hmm. Very true. But it's a good question, because right now the prospector is the ship of choice that we use to, be in space and on a planet's surface. It does that have that as its advantage, where the Orion, it's not coming down from anywhere. You know, it's going to stay in space, and that's all it's going to do. So that's a very, very good point. Okay, let's see. Do we have any questions? We have no questions on the questions list, as far as I can tell, unless I didn't refresh it. Is that correct? Heavy Bob started writing something, but he didn't fill it out, so I guess he's okay. Heavy Bob, if you still got that question, toss it at us. If not, no problem.
Heavy Bob is just sending me a greeting, I believe.
Oh, okay, cool, awesome. So let me ask you this, and Gigi, I'll start with you. If there was any ship that you did see out of everything that we reviewed today, what was the one that stuck out to you the most? It does not matter whether you buy it or not, but which one out of the alien ships is the one that really impressed you the most?
Definitely the Defender.
The Defender.
Definitely.
Why in particular?
It's a little bit of most of the things that I look for
Mm-hmm.
in certain ships. Like I said, smaller things that can kind of get in and out of spaces.
Mm-hmm.
And I do have a thing for that certain shape. I told you that kind of crescent shape.
Mm-hmm.
I like the black on red. My rig is black and red. Black and red just go together well.
Same for me.
I like the idea of, I love cooperative play, so I like the idea of working with a friend who has a merchantman eventually, you know what I mean, and being able to attach and go out together, and I be the defender, I be the gunner, and I'm, keeping
You're
other
hired.
people off of us.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna take Gigi out and put her in a Defender fast cart so she can see what the color scheme is on that ship, because I know from the picture it looked like that from that still photo, but she's going to be amazing. She'll probably like it even better considering what her name is, so she has to see the ship. So we'll have to make sure we take her out there.
I already see Daedalus said because it's green. You know how I feel about green.
Yep. Fast cart, what about you? Which of all the ships we looked at today, which one is the one that stuck out to you the most from the aliens?
I have to say, I'm glad you made Gigi answer first, because I had to think about it. Because I was like, outside of these four, A, B, and C, and D that you have on the screen, I would probably say the Scout, All, because the way it maneuvers and the way it looks, and it's exotic, and the way the wings and everything fold in, it's definitely something that's outside the realm of most ships currently in Star Citizen when it comes to like aesthetic. Wow, so it's All for me.
It definitely has an alien feel, for lack of a better term. Kayla said this earlier too, and I don't know if you guys saw it in his message, but they have done a rework on the Cartual. They've strengthened the wing joints, because right before that thing could it could tap a small rock and it would just fall apart. But they've toughened the ship up more. Supposedly it flies better. It has tighter turns, a whole lot of stuff that they've done to it. So for those of you who have those ships in melt, you might be doing some unmelting pretty soon, or if you've never bought one, you might be really interested in it. Again, as we mentioned earlier, it's designed to be a scout ship. This is the ship that you want to get in, see something, do some reconnaissance work, and get in and out very quickly. Hence why it folds up the way it does too. If you're landing somewhere on some planet where there's trees or whatever, where it can't be seen so easily, there's a lot of cool things about it. What's Shiver talking about? I know he's talking about something, right? If they did a rework on the Cartual, is it now the oh God, yes, Shiver.
and the one that made me cringe the most is that he said mining is boring.
Oh,
I'm boring.
He said underground mining.
Underground mining is boring.
Boring, as in going into the rock.
Yeah, we yes.
Yeah.
You get it? Oh, it's funny because I explained it.
Yeah. Ops Chief, we did talk about that, about the Defender. We did say that it needs a toilet, and I agree with something Ops Chief is saying here. A lot of times people talk about these ships that have not come out yet, right? Like the Banu Merchantman. When is it going to come out? When is it going to come out? One of the coolest things that I think we learned from when the Carrack was released is that CIG gets better and better at making its ships. And we saw that when the 890 came out. We saw it when the Carrack came out. Yes, there's a waiting process. Yes, it's a bit frustrating, especially when they're ships who were concepted 5, 6, even 7 years ago. But the good news is that Banu is going to be a monster when it comes out, guaranteed. When you look at the work and the time they spent on the Defender and developing the whole Banu look, you can imagine what that ship is going to be like, because that is their flagship. The Banu Merchantmen are the Banu's flagship. That ship will allow you to access certain parts of the universe that you can't go into with other areas. You'll be respected as a certain way as a trader. So there's a lot of cool things that are going to be in that ship when it comes out. Were you going to say, Fastcart?
Yeah, like the measurement is like, you know, it's really tough because I've been waiting for it for so long. But I mean, I got it in 2016, so it's been 4 years for me. But I know the longer it takes, the better it's going to be. So I'm like, I want it to be the best possible, but I kind of want it now. But I want it to be the best possible. So it's like go back and forth between the two. I mean, it'll be well worth the wait, I believe. But I'm glad. I'm already glad I have it. But I'll be that much more appreciative of it when it finally comes out.
You know, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I'm at the point now that when CIG puts out ships, I want to start seeing ships that come out where there's some aspect of their mechanics that work. Does that make sense? I don't want them to just put out another ship and all you can do is haul cargo in it. You know what I mean? If it's a ship that's designed for, like the refining ship, I want it to come out and you can start doing refining. If it's the salvage ship, I want it so that we can start doing salvaging. We've got plenty of ships like the Carrack. I mean, God bless people who take the Carrack and do cargo runs for it. But for me as a role player, that's like freaking blasphemy. It's an explorer, and I want when that ship came out, I wish that things like the cartography deck was working, or the fact that it had enhanced scanning capabilities. Something about that ship or its role that comes along with the ships now when they come out. Because, the cargo, the module pods, or the it has supposed to have the drones. I want to start seeing that when ships come out. I don't want ships to come out where they're just pretty to fly around, but the mechanic isn't there. So if they haven't developed trade, if we can't use those ships to sell or stock or store in some form, I'd rather wait, put something else out that the mechanic works on so we can start actually moving toward gameplay a little bit more. But that's just my 2 cents on that. Okay. Well, go ahead, Fastcart.
I put a link for the driller in Twitch chat because that's an awesome cutscene.
Yes.
I don't know if you're able to show it. I don't want to put you on the spot or anything.
Nope, don't put me on the spot. Not at 8:20. I start drinking. No, thank you.
Yeah, so people in Twitch chat or in watching on YouTube can watch the driller video.
Yes,
that's one of the great cutscenes.
Driller is amazing. I mean, and that was like the first time when we really started seeing, like you said, Fastcart, how that whole Van Duel aesthetic is going to look. And they said once that in the Kingship came out, that's what made them go back and say, hey, let's go back and look at our other ships. So definitely want to see that. Okay, we're going to wrap it up. We have hit everything on Alien Week. Question? Go ahead and read it.
He says, do you want to see an alien frigate glass ship?
Do we want to
see? What do you mean glass? Like transparent?
I don't know if he means transparent. I know that I would like to see.
Oh, frigate class. He probably means frigate class ship. Frigate class.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But we'll take a glass one too, Raytheon. We'll take a glass one.
Yeah. Yes, glass.
A glass one would be very cool.
Alien frigate class ship, like Idris.
But alien. That would be interesting to see something that's because right now the biggest stuff I think will be the Starlifter. Those will be pretty big. I'm talking about other than the Hull series ships. I don't think we have anything on a frigate level that would move into that level. And when you say frigate, are you using frigate in the sense of military or just the size?
It's a Polaris size.
Polaris size. Wow. Wow. That's interesting. Okay. Yeah, I think he's just referring to the size of the ship, like along that size. That's a good question, Raytheon, because, you start getting into what's the practicality or what would you be moving in a ship that large, where they have the whole series. Well, yeah, but I don't know. That's an interesting idea. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, we haven't seen a lot of these. Like, SQUADRON 42 has a lot of hidden ships.
Sure.
Because there's gonna be a lot of alien ships in that game that they're keeping hidden from us because they want it to be a surprise and not spoilers. So there could well be something like that in the game already that we just don't know about.
That's very true. Because there are ships that we haven't seen. Not only are there ships that we haven't seen. If you guys remember last week, they even talked about alien races that we haven't even seen or talked about. So they've talked about this 9-to-1 ratio in the universe where we're 1 and 9 is NPC. And that assumption doesn't mean that it's just human. They've told us things like the Hull C will be the most popular transport cargo ship that we'll see NPCs moving around in. So there could be a lot of stuff. You know, a lot of times people gauge the progress of Star Citizen based upon what we have. And that's like the wrong thing probably to gauge it on, because there's a lot of stuff that we haven't seen yet. And I think like one of the best examples of that was when we were watching CitizenCon, was it last year, year before, when they showed us the coil. And we saw all the stuff that they had been doing in that little piece they did with Mark Hamill. And it was amazing to see all this stuff that was a part of Squadron 42. It was amazing for me just to see the freaking reclaimer working, which I thought was great. So there's a lot of stuff that we just haven't seen yet, but we know is coming. So just hang in there with it. You have any other questions? There's nothing on the question sheet. And I don't see anything else in chat. I think we got it all. Yes. Yep. So I will emphasize what Nightbot just said. If you like us, follow us. We appreciate all of you all who followed us today. We definitely appreciate you guys because we know it's Father's Day. Some of you all are probably wrapping up your Father's Day, or you're just chilling on a nice Sunday. And hopefully you all are doing well, taking care of yourself in the midst of COVID. Don't forget, COVID is still around. Whether you believe it is a hoax or not, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself with all that's going on. And next week, what's our show next week, Fastcart?
Oh, you asking me? I thought you had it up.
This is the 21st to 28th. Next week is that the show on the whales? No. What's next week's show?
No.
It's not, is it? Do you remember what it is? This is a shame that the old man is forgetting. Yeah, I know. This is terrible. Too many shows. You know what happened was I worked on them for a month and a half ahead of myself. And now I don't know what it is the show was about. Hold on 1 second.
310.
Let's talk about that for a minute. Yes, 3.10. Eva Cotty got it last week. They've been working on it. Some of you all saw this last Friday that they've showed that they have almost everything at 100%. Yes, Star Helix 310 hype. They said that they are almost at 100% on everything. So we're guesstimating, mind you, that it will be with subscribers and concierge this week. So that show may be next week. If it's not out, then we're going to flip some stuff. But hopefully next week we'll be on 3.1.0. I think, yeah.
Just at the PSA, the tokens for buyback tokens should be out at the beginning of July. So if you haven't used a token this month, use them before they refresh. You can only get one at a time. You can't get two.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? I think we're going to do an executive change here. Let's not do 310 next week, guys. Because if it goes to concierge and subscriber, everybody wouldn't have seen it. And I don't like talking about it when everybody hasn't had an opportunity to see it. So next week's show, I'm going to make a flip here, is going to be called There Be Whales Here. There Be Whales Here. And it is about people who have spent
too much money on
Star Citizen. People who have spent a lot of money. We're going to have some guests on who are going to tell you why they think it was cool or is cool to spend $5,000, $10,000, maybe even more than $15,000 on Star Citizen. Yeah. So, we always hear people downing the whales and saying, how do these people, whales. Well, we're going to give them a chance next week to tell you guys why they would spend that type of money on Star Citizen. In fact, one of you who's watching may be a whale. I know Miss Hart, you're a whale, right? I know Miss Hart is a whale. Shiver, you're a whale. I know you're a whale. So next week, that's going to be our subject. We're going to push 310 back just one more week because I want to make sure everybody knows about it.
Shiver's my friend. Don't call him fat.
I'm not calling him fat.
Well, then y'all make sure y'all talk to Shiver because
I
won't be here.
Yeah, I know some. You're right, Daedalus. Some of us have got the cash, right? So it's okay. There's no problem with that. All right, but we are going to be talking about that. Yeah, you know what, Kalis? I'm really mad about that because I'm a 600 fan, and I will never see one because I will never spend that level of money on the game. I'm so upset that I won't get an executive.
You can steal one.
Yeah, that might be the only way I get one, and it won't stay with me, unfortunately. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. All right, so Gigi, anything else you want to say before anybody? Why don't you tell people about your Twitch channel at least so people know where they can find you?
My Twitch channel is The GreenEyed Gal. So same as what you see on the screen, but add the ahead of it. And I play ESO over there. Sometimes I play Sea of Thieves. Sometimes I play Star Citizen. Come on and hang out with me. Be a good time.
Give her a follow. I put her stream in Twitch chat for you guys.
Thank you very much, fastcart.
Fastcart, tell them about you one more time.
You can find me on twitter.com/fast_cart. That's mostly where I am. I don't stream, but I am on a bunch of other people's streams like this one. Oh, and the YouTube video for the relay, yesterday's relay is up, so check me out on that if you're interested.
Awesome. Okay. And I'm GriffinGamingRPG. We appreciate you guys as always. We are going to jump us over into a quick raid over to Captain Burks. Y'all know Captain Burks. He's a good guy, and he's doing Star Citizen right now. Stay safe. Take care of yourself. We'll see you guys next week where we do them. There'll be whales here. There'll be whales here. Take care of yourself. Love, peace,
Bye, everyone.
and soul. Take care.
Oh!
I can't top that. She went.
Huh? He said what?
I can't top that. She ran.
She gets the howl. Yeah, she did the soul, the old peace, love, and soul train. All right, guys, we'll see you guys later. Take care.
Bye now.